That's okay. Ah, Lydia, Goddess Herster, which is my nickname for you. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure. Really happy to be here.
Well, I'm so happy that you're here. And we're going to start off with our usual 10 quick fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, number one, which is kind of three in one, name, age, and profession.
So, my name is Lydia or Lids. I'm 37 and I'm studying herbalism, holistic health, and hopefully I'm going to be coaching soon as well.
Heaven, yes, you are.
Yep.
Okay, number two, sweet or savoury?
Um, at the moment it's savory, but it changes. I like both, all of it.
Give it up. Give it.
Yeah.
It's neither both. Hold on. It's not or either. It's both and.
Yeah, exactly.
Always. Okay, number three, early bird or night owl?
Um, I'm definitely a night owl, but I also really enjoy the mornings when the streets are kind of empty and you can hear the birdies, and I like a bit of both. But I do tend to sort of like I do find it hard to switch off at night because I have a lot going on. So both.
Both. I love how you just demand and choose both because you can.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite way of moving your body in this moment?
Um, I love long, very scenic walks, especially on beaches or mountainous walks. Yeah, nice strolls.
Hmm. Number five, three things you love.
Three things I love. Food, traveling, and people.
Amen. Number six, do you have a favorite quote or a mantra that you like to live by or share with others?
Yes, I do. I love, and when we trust the process, we are free. I really love that because it's so true.
I've not heard that before, but I really truly love it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
When we trust the process, we are free. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Number seven, something you like that others may consider strange or weird.
Oh, something I like that others may consider strange or weird. I'm trying to think of some sort of food dish, but I'm sure there's loads of things that I like that people think are weird, but nothing's coming to my mind right now. I might have to come back to that one.
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
Number eight, three things you love about yourself.
I love the way my mind works. Um, I'm really proud of myself for embarking on this journey. I love that about myself. And I love the fact that I'm a little bit cheeky and naughty.
Me too. The messages that we have exchanged.
Mm-hmm.
We'll leave it there. It's just
We'll
lit
just
up
leave it
my
there.
day so many times.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, number nine. If you could be a mythical creature or an
Mm.
animal, what would it be and why?
I think I'd probably be. I think I'd probably be. It might sound a bit cliche, but probably a bird, just because they're so free.
Mm.
You can kind of just piss off anywhere you want. I think I like that.
I think I would choose the same.
Yeah,
True freedom, I feel, is being a bird.
yeah, or a butterfly because they're so pretty. But yeah,
Yeah, flutterbys.
yeah,
And the last question, imagine this. I want you to fast forward 10 years from now. So you'll
yeah,
be late 40s.
yeah.
Looking back on the last 10 years, so like 10 years into the future now, what are you most proud of yourself for?
Hang on, say that again. So looking back as if I've done it.
Yeah, so obviously this question could be asked both ways, couldn't it? If you was to look 10 years in the future,
Yeah.
what are you going to be most proud of that you're going to do? Or in a different way, looking back 10 years from now, from this place forward, what are you most proud of?
I think just helping other people, helping people struggling. I'm just so passionate, and I'm because of how elated and happy I'm feeling at the moment. My plan is to kind of spread that. So I'd be most proud of that, I think.
I can't wait for your clients to meet you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so let's go back, if you can, in the mindset that you were in when
Yep.
you and I first had that consultation 3.5 months ago.
Yep.
What were you struggling with when you first reached out to me?
Well, I mean, I had, 25 years of disordered eating, of self-loathing, of just absolutely hating myself in a complete rut. Um, and I was just feeling so lost and just thinking that nothing would help because, I'd had years of therapy and I was just so stuck in this very embedded, limited mindset. And just, there was just no way out. So I was just feeling kind of desperate actually, and willing to just try anything at that point.
Yeah, I remember when you said, like, you said the words, and I'm having my hand on my heart for those that can't see the video because it just breaks my heart when I think back. You said, if you remember, like, I just hate myself, and you said it
Yeah,
with such clarity.
yeah. And I can't believe I said that. I actually feel emotional that I actually said that. I can't believe it.
Mm. Oh, thank you for sharing what you're struggling with. How did it affect your life? So living with like self-loathing, the binge eating, the starving, like the cycle, like how was that affecting your day-to-day
Well,
life?
I mean, it just affected it in all areas. I mean, I would literally hide myself away. I made myself so small. I didn't go to social events. I was flaky with friends and relationships. I was always hiding things as well. I was dishonest about things, so insecure about everything. It just kept me so tiny and just, I mean, the amount of headspace it takes up having to do all those things. I have so much free headspace now. You don't realize that it just consumes you on so many levels, and it's really, it's horrible. It's so evil.
Yeah. What's the worst or the most ridiculous diet you've ever done in your lifetime?
I have done so many. What's the worst ridiculous diet? The one that I made up, which was, I mean, it makes me feel sick now, and actually I avoid those foods a lot. But so I
Trauma?
would, yeah, I would just basically and I say broil, no oil, pour water in a pan and broil vegetables with onions, and have that literally on its own with a bit of salt and pepper, and I would have that for lunch and tea, not even breakfast. I mean, fuck's sake, what the hell is that? It's just
Oh.
complete torture. Yeah, so yeah, that's probably the worst diet I ever did.
Yeah, no, that does not sound appetizing at all.
It
And
wasn't.
if you don't mind sharing,
Yeah,
what's like and I say this in quotes because you and I both know there's no point in using the word binge anymore in recovery, but
yeah.
what's quote the worst binge that you ever remember experiencing?
There were so many. I don't think I've got. They were all fucking terrible. Worst binge. Oh, just thinking about it, it's just going back to that. Just, I mean, it would start off with I'd maybe have one crisp and that was it. I'd have to have everything after that because I'd sport my diet, and just I can't give you an exact example because there were just so many of them, and I think I've kind of blocked it.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
And what did you try to quote fix or resolve until you came for coaching? Like what had you tried in the past? Because I'm sure many can relate. Like when people say you need to try harder or you need to try something different, or you need more willpower. Like what had you tried previously before you were waving the fucking white flag of surrender of being like, Victoria, just help me, please.
Help me. I'd had quite a few years of therapy. Not actually, surprisingly, not really about eating. It was about other areas of my life, of my upbringing, because I didn't really realize that it was actually the eating sort of was the foundation to everything. Um, but I tried therapy, researching, into eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full, self kind of just researching online, sort of using sort of self therapy, all sorts of things. Just so many things.
And then when you came to me and we had that initial conversation, and obviously I believe in what I do, that's very clear. When you walked away, even though you said yes, let's do this on the call, which isn't very common, but you did say yes, did you think this process, and again those for the audio, I'm using the word like quotes here, would you think this would work for you, this process, and why or why not did you think that?
Did I think it would work? If I'm really honest with you, I didn't at the time think it was would work, but I think I was just so desperate, and I think more than any other time, I was more open to it working. I think because coaching was new to me. And also I find that coaching is kind of, it's much more uplifting. You know, I'm not criticizing therapy. I think therapy definitely has its place. But when you have therapy, and from my perspective, you do focus a lot on past trauma, and that for me just wasn't helpful. I'd spoken about it. I wanted to move on from it, but I think the idea is to, they want you to kind of keep you there to kind of process it more and more and more. I don't know what the ideas are there. I'm not a therapist, but coaching is really uplifting. And you kind of, after sessions, you're energized and you feel like there's a clear focus. I didn't know that then, but I think I was just more open to trusting the process. And obviously, speaking to you, you seemed very relaxed and calm and very confident about what you offered, and it bloody worked. It only
Bloody
went and
did.
worked.
But it did, didn't it? And
It
got that.
did.
I don't even know what I was doing just then. Is that a London accent I was just trying to
It was
do?
a bit of a Cockney-esque accent, yeah.
There you go. Can you do a London accent like proper London?
All right, mate. Yeah, I can do a bit of a London Cockney accent, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Thank you.
Awesome. And why did you choose to work with me over anybody else? Maybe you saw other people, a lot of people do. Some people just find me and then go with me straight away. Would you mind sharing your experience around that?
I think, you were one of the first people. I don't know what I typed in the internet, but I typed something in about binging and you came up, and I looked at your picture and you looked very warm and welcoming. And I just had a feeling of, I like the look of this lady. And it just felt right. It might sound a bit cheesy, but I let my intuition guide me because I was open and just so desperate for help. I think it was like, this seemed right.
Yeah, written in the stars.
Yes, definitely.
Was. And so would you be able to share all the good parts now? How is your relationship with your food and body now?
I literally can't believe it. I literally, even when I'm having a shit day, I have to pinch myself. I cannot believe that I'm a normal eater. I cannot believe I leave stuff on my plate. I cannot believe I enjoy cake when I'm not hungry and I don't give a shit. I cannot believe that my relationship with food is fucking banging. And I'm sorry to swear, but I'm just so passionate about it.
Oh no, I mean, people that know me, I swear a lot. It kind of is the way I express myself passionately.
Yeah, exactly. Passion.
And you're the same. So, how would you now experience, let's say you're going out for a meal? Because I know a lot of my listeners struggle with like, they need to look at the menu beforehand and there's a lot of stress around it, or they use it as an excuse in quotes in dieting world to press the fuck it button and therefore like binge their face off and all that. How would
Mm-hmm.
you experience, like, just if someone was to randomly say tonight, not
Yeah,
planned, let's
yeah.
go out for a meal? How would you feel about that?
I'd love that. I'd love to go out for a meal tonight. Love that. Yeah. There's no fear that comes up at all apart from just excitement and what am I going to have? What choices do they have?
I love
Is
that.
there a better restaurant than that? Let me have a look online, kind of thing.
Yeah. So you just have your life back.
I, I have my life back and more. I'm doing so much more. That it's amazing. It's so much headspace and it's not just the eating disorder. So what happens is you you fix the eating disorder, and then you realize that there are all these other areas of your life that you can go and venture out into. And at first, I was a little bit overwhelmed by that, and I
Yeah.
was texting you, telling you, because I was like, what the fuck do I do now? But when you just take it one step at a time and you just relax into it and you allow and you just trust the process and you just experience all those feelings, and they can be quite nice because you're alive, and it's just so magical. And now I'm doing what I love. I'm just so happy, and it's amazing. It really is.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
And what most people like to know the answer to as well, because dieting, as you know, like promises quick fixes, and most people diet in order to get a quick result fast. Coaching doesn't work that way, as you and I both know. However, and this is different for everyone, but how quickly did you start to see shifts when you first signed up and through the modules, etc.?
I mean, for me, certainly with the eating, and it won't happen like this for everybody, and it's fine, it doesn't matter. I don't know why, but the eating thing happened quite quickly. I was still, obviously texting you all the time. I was still kind of confused if I was, and asking if I was doing the right thing or not. But the binges went straight away, and I think that was because I'd basically offloaded my weight onto you, and and somebody was carrying that and holding space for that. So I think that's what I needed, because remember, I was hiding this from even, you know, very close people to me. So that was even, you know, it was amazing to do that. So the binges went straight away. However, the intuitive eating was, I mean, it's still sometimes I'm still not sure. It's, you're a bit like a car, kind of, you know, finding your way, and sometimes you make a little bit of an off turn, and it's not wrong or right. You're just finding your way, and you have to accept that and allow it. And I'm still doing that, and I like the fact that I'm not always sure. I like the fact that I'm experiencing all these wonderful emotions and things, because I'm going to gain more experience, and it's just so nice.
It's part of the process, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
a big loving experiment, curiousness, no
yeah,
judgment.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you do, and through that you begin to love yourself more, and you're more gentle with yourself, and it's
Yeah.
just so lovely.
Gentle's a great word to describe it. And what would you say was the hardest thing about this journey?
The hardest thing, I think, letting go of the security blanket, letting go of people's toxic ideals, which I'm still, you know, I'm still working through now. I mean, I'm 100% happier. However, you know, we live in such a, you know, from the moment we're born, we're kind of exposed to this very toxic programming, and this kind of huge amalgamation of toxic programming, and it's coming at us from all angles, and it's deliberately designed to kind of take over our minds. Um, and we're kind of repeatedly exposed to all this subliminal messaging. So it's not, you can't just switch off from it.
Mm.
You have to keep, you know, you have to rewire your subconscious mind, but that by doing all the body love work and doing it on repeat. You can't just do 5 minutes of it, because I used to think it was bullshit. You have to keep doing it until you believe it. And when it becomes a belief, then it becomes embedded, and then you believe it. So yeah. Did I answer your question properly there? I can't even remember what
Yeah,
you asked me now.
definitely the hardest part, just to mirror back what you said, is to unlearn
Yeah,
all of the toxic diet culture BS that we've been
yeah,
brainwashed with since birth,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. And it's dangled, it's presented to us, you know, on this glittery,
Mm-hmm.
sugar coated stick with a carrot on the end of it, because we think that, you know, what we're trying to get is validation from that. But we need to obviously get, as cheesy as it might sound, we need to validate ourselves and find ourselves. And through this process you really do find yourself. And when you find yourself, you couldn't give a shit anymore what anyone thinks. You don't care, because you're so aligned and whole, you feel so wholesome and happy. And it's the relief of it all, not having to carry that junk around anymore. Oh, it's just so nice.
Ah, feel that.
Yeah.
What was your most favorite part? And if I'm fidgeting, I literally have an itch on my something's
I'm
bit,
actually quite fidgety too. I was just thinking about
something
that,
has
but don't worry.
literally. And when you were speaking and looking away, I almost fell over. So when you watch the recording back, you'll see me like
Oh, I
something
love that.
proper bit me.
I do
I'll
love
send you a photo because I know you like to see random photos of me,
you.
like bites
You.
and things.
Yeah.
Um, what was the most favorite part about coaching, or the modules, or the experience you've had, or any of it? If you could
The
pick a
most
few.
favorite part, I think, actually, this might sound a bit weird, but actually getting triggered. Because when you look back at those triggers, then there's so much insight in those triggers. And you think, wow, I can't believe that's how my mind was thinking. So when you do the modules, and there's so much, it's jam packed basically with information, and then watching all the videos, and then seeing, you know, other women your size and bigger is just so liberating. And I didn't know about this health at every size movement. I was completely trapped away from all of that. So also seeing that is just like, wow. And in the beginning you think you're triggered by that size, you don't like it, but then over time when you see it more and more, you actually start to really like it, and you start to think it looks healthy, and then you accept your body, and then you're like, well, if they're living their best lives, and, you know, they look amazing and they're happy, yeah, it's just such a wonderful process. So yeah, getting triggered, and then the insight from those triggers, I really love that. It's my favorite part.
Oh, that is deep spiritual growth right there.
There you go.
There you go. That's how much you've grown. You've chosen to choose your triggers as the most favorite part. Like,
Yeah, because you just learn so much from it. You from learning that stuff, then you can repair. If you don't know, then how can you repair?
exactly. Oh, yeah. I feel like you should like take over this podcast right now.
Oh no, I don't want to take over.
No, but you're so wise.
Really? Well, it's all from
Yeah.
you. You taught me well.
Thank you. Well, you can't teach wisdom, but I'll take parts of it that I can receive. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Big question next. How did you feel about the investment? I mean, you don't have to say how much it was unless you want to.
No,
How did you feel
I
about
think
that?
I think with everything I've gained, to be honest with you, I think you should be. I mean, I shouldn't say this, but I think it was an absolute bargain. Yeah, it's a decent amount of money, but because I'm completely in food freedom now, and I absolutely adore myself. For me, it was just the best investment. It's the best thing I've ever done with my life because from doing this, now I can go and actually live my life. So that's how I think it was the best investment
Did you?
bargain.
I love that. And had you invested in yourself before?
Not spending, not, no, I hadn't. I mean, therapy, it was always kind of paid for by my work at the time, or so no, I hadn't. And I kept kind of putting that off. And then I was like, well, why do I keep putting it off? Because I really, I need to do this for myself, really. I think you need to, it's something that you really need to do for yourself. So for me, it was just very important.
Yeah. Thank you for your kind words, by the way, in terms of what you shared and what I give. And those of you that do follow me and that do know me, all that those of you that don't, I hope it's clear to see that I am so fucking passionate about what I do, and it lights my soul on fire every day. I get to help these incredible women. So thank you for reflecting that back to me. I really
Well,
appreciate it.
you're welcome. As you say, we're all mirrors, aren't we?
The whole world is a mirror. And when I first heard that years ago, it annoyed me because I didn't understand it. I was like, well, that's
Yeah.
stupid. What does that mean?
Yeah, no,
Are
me
you
too.
saying that I want this situation to happen in my life? And the therapist
Yeah,
is like,
yeah,
yes. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
I
It's very
don't
triggering.
understand.
Hmm?
It's so true. If you was to describe me to a stranger in 3 words, what would they be?
Oh, I wish I had a bigger, more extensive vocabulary, but you're effing phenomenal. You are legendary and you are a beautiful person inside out. And I could go on forever here, but I'm gonna say three because you asked for three. But yeah,
Thank you, Lydia.
you're
And
welcome.
what would you say to someone who is really struggling, maybe listened to my podcast, maybe watched a few videos, etc., and they're kind of like, but will it work for me? Will it not? Like kind of on the fence.
Yeah,
What would you say to them from a place like from your heart without like, quote, selling me, like just heart to heart? What would you say to any woman who's struggling, who's unsure whether it will work, whether they can invest in themselves?
I'd say if they've cut if they are where they are and they've been there for a while and nothing's working, I'd say what's the harm in trying something and just kind of keeping an open mind. I just I tell them to go for it. I don't really know how to answer that I guess because I'm reflecting back to me because I was in that situation, and I think because I was at such a desperate point, and as I say, that desperation kind of opened me up, weirdly enough. Um, I think when you give advice to somebody who's shut off, they're not necessarily going to take that advice. So yeah, I think you do need to be at certain place with it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know.
You do. It took me, and I think you as well, because most women, well, all the women that I work with are high achievers, all or nothing. And so over time, they've tried so many diets and they've tried so hard, and they just think, just try harder. And we're so hard on ourselves. Most
No.
often than not, it takes us to get to absolute rock bottom
Yeah,
and literally wave the white surrender flag and just be like,
is
I cannot anymore.
yeah, and that was me. Um, so
And that was
yeah,
me too. And that's how I love to help people, because they've kind of exhausted every single thing that they think, oh, but if I just try harder this time and do this because so and so next door's got success on said diet,
yep,
once they've got over all the shiny object diets and they fail
yeah,
again and again and again, that's
yeah,
actually a beautiful place to be, because then
yeah,
you almost have to try something different, which is
yeah, And
this.
you have, and you know, you disconnect from anything, because before I was in this external, I was wanting everything external. And what this process does is it brings you back to yourself. So you go internal, and you can disconnect easily to this toxic external facade, which is a load of bullshit. And that is the most liberating feeling, because as I said, you just don't care anymore. It's amazing.
It's amazing. And I would love to take this opportunity to ask you what
Yeah.
your plans are. How can you help people? Because I know that you're offering something extremely special, but it's literally a short space of time, of
Yep.
course. But
Yep.
share with us how people can come into your world, what they can get from you at the moment, your
Yep.
future plans and dreams. I'm going to post this ASAP so they can take you up on this.
Yep.
Share
Okay,
with
so
us.
I'm offering 6 weeks free coaching. It doesn't have to be 6 weeks. It can be, you know, it's up to 6 weeks, but you can use, you know, if you just want to chat, we need some advice, or if I can help in any way, contact me. My handle, by the way, I just learned what handle means. That's how much of an old fogey I am. But my handle on Instagram is Lydia Fleur Recovery. Message me. I'm also on Facebook, but I'm on a different name. So maybe just used Instagram. So it's Lydia Fleur Recovery. So yeah, I'm offering free coaching. I intend to go into this full time. I'm so passionate, and I just really want, you know, people that are struggling to feel as liberated and free as I do. So yeah, contact me if you need some help.
I'll link everything below, of course. And I just want to blow your trumpet for a little bit and like brag on you, Lydia, for a moment and say a few things. Number one, thank you for being able to go there, like without bringing up what you've experienced in your past. It's a lot, right? A lot of trauma there. You've been willing to go there, express how you feel, like you've trusted me to hold you in that. I feel
Mm-hmm.
teary right now. I remember one message you sent me, and I was like voice noting back, like with tears like running down my face of just my heartbreak for what you experienced, but then looking at the woman you are now and how you've just grown so quickly and really like it's, I mean, I never say we learn how to love ourselves. You've come home to yourself so
Yeah,
quickly because
yeah,
self-love is
I
who you
know.
are, and it's an absolute honor to watch you evolve back to who you are. And I cannot wait to see the all the people that you're going to help with your business with binge eating recovery.
Yeah.
And you are extremely wise because you've not really expressed this out loud. You know a shitload of information about natural remedies, like herbal things and tips and tricks and like all of that. So just speak a little bit as to, because I don't obviously know the right vocabulary to use, like what would you say you know in terms of like herbalism, and how can that help people on their way to your coaching through binge eating?
I just think it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit, you know, and I won't go too deep and down the rabbit hole here, but obviously, you know, big pharma do have an agenda, and I think, you know, holistic health is sort of, you know, they sort of roll their eyes at it, and they say there's no scientific research or whatever. It's just because they don't plow money into researching it. But I love anything natural and holistic, because, you know, it focuses on your whole body, not just putting a plaster over, you know, a symptom. And I think it goes hand in hand with this process. And also, it's just so nourishing for your body to, you know, use herbs, and it's kind of, it makes you feel so kind of aligned, because you're using mother nature as opposed to drugs. And obviously drugs have their place, but I think a lot of things, we're not aware of this, but many ailments can be cured by using herbs. So obviously I'm very passionate about that, and we'll probably interlink that with my coaching as well. If people want that, they might not want that, and that's fine. But
Yeah, because you've shared with me at least three things that I can think of off the top of my head to help support blood sugar for diabetes
yeah,
without restricting, without cutting things out, because we all
yeah,
know that restriction doesn't work,
yeah,
regardless of the reason you're doing it for. It doesn't magically make diets work.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, so full of wisdom, full of love. It's been an absolute honor to, and of course, this is only the beginning. We see each other in person
we
in
do.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah,
Think it is, which is very
yeah,
exciting, and I'm sure
it
we're
is.
going to collaborate in the future. But
I hope so.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation, watching, listening to me and Liz. And obviously, I'll link everything below for you to go and follow Lydia. And honestly, if you're wondering if you should take up Lydia's option to free coaching, I literally am speechless, because you need it in your life, but you're going to have to cap it at a certain amount of people, right?
Yeah. I think I need to think about that. Yeah. Bear
Yeah.
with me.
So reach out to her, and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Any last words, Lids, before we say goodbye?
Just remember that you are an amazing creative being, and you've got so much to give. And we've been given this phenomenal vehicle, our bodies, to go and live out our dreams. Just love her and nourish her and accept her in all forms. That's what I'm going to say.
Amen. Lots of love.
Lots
See you
of love.
next time.
Thank you, Victoria.
You are
Bye.
so welcome.